So there is a very corrupt culture that is ruling the world. Let me give you one. One of the culture that you must avoid. If you're going to matter in anything that God is doing, you must run away from the culture of self-preservation. The world teaches it. In some cases, religion encourages it. Do what makes you happy. Go where you are accepted, not where you are tolerated. Embrace only those who recognize you. Give me more. I didn't hear it, but I know it's funny. And you hear many things. And the culture seems to suggest that if you are loving somebody, your love, that's you first. And it sounds like it makes sense. Until you read your Bible, that one of the descriptions of God about the last days is that men will be lovers of themselves. And you can get an entire philosophy, an entire pastor as your fave, based on the fact that they educate you on how to love yourself more than God. You know, in ministry, there's a very tricky line that you can begin to teach people because of the preacher, yes. And what you're doing is everything contrary to God's plan for their lives. But because it is good for the people, it is good for the crowd, it is good for publicity, it is good for PR. And you have people who know plenty things about themselves and nothing about God. You know, I was thinking, and that's the problem. If Esther was in the Nigerian church, the pastor will counsel her, if you go knock the door of the king and they kill you, no more tithe and offering will come. So we can't raise people who are saying, if I die, I die. If I perish, I perish. Look at it. If Moses wanted to self-preserve, he will never go for the Israelites. He was already in Egypt. As a prince, his life was fixed. He was enjoying the pleasure of Egypt. But the Bible said, through faith, Moses embraced rather the reproach of Christ than the pleasures of Egypt. So there is such a thing as embracing reproach. And yet you are in God's will. There is such a thing as embracing what looks like shame. It is contrary to the way they would have been thinking. It is contrary. There is such a thing as that you embrace reproach. He esteemed the reproach of Christ greater than the pleasures of Egypt. Reproach that the man who grew up in the palace, the man whose word commands attention, now became a fugitive. That had to run from Egypt for 40 years. And while he was running, he was in God's plan. I've said to you that peace is not a sign you are aligned. And trouble is not a sign you are out of God's will. When you embrace self-preservation, compromise will look like wisdom. You know, you begin to speak from compromise. You can develop political statement that nobody is hurt from what you're saying. And that is what the world judges as wisdom. He's so wise. He knows how to do it. It's politics. There are dimensions of the truth that divide and pierce and hurt. It's painful, but it will mend the generation.